Now it's my turn to take it all back.
After years of waiting in the shadows, Riddick is finally coming home. Riddick 4, Furia is bringing Vin Diesel's legendary anti-hero back to his mysterious homeworld for what might be the most explosive chapter yet. But will Furia still be standing when he arrives? The Riddick franchise has been a cult phenomenon since Pitch Black first introduced us to Richard B. Riddick back in 2000, a dangerous convict with surgically enhanced eyes that allow him to see in complete darkness. Riddick quickly became one of the most iconic anti-heroes in science fiction cinema. But throughout the entire franchise, one mystery has haunted both Riddick and the fans: the fate of his homeworld Furia. Well, after nearly a decade since the last film, Riddick 4 Furia is officially happening. And this time, we're not just hearing about Furia in whispered legends or fragmented memories. We're actually going there. The project first announced back in April 2016, but like Riddick himself, it disappeared into the shadows for years. Fans were left wondering if the film would ever materialize. Then, in 2023, everything changed. Director David Twohy and Vin Diesel confirmed the script was complete, and the project received official backing with 2 million euros from Germany's FFF Bayern Fund. Now, you might be wondering about the timeline. When can we actually expect to see this film? Current estimates place the release somewhere between 2027 and 2028, possibly even later. The delay isn't due to production problems though. Vin Diesel is committed to wrapping up the Fast and the Furious franchise first, with that saga's final installment expected around 2027. Once those family obligations are handled, Diesel can focus entirely on bringing Riddick's journey full circle. Principal photography is scheduled to take place primarily at Penzing Studios in Bavaria, Germany, with additional shooting locations confirmed in Spain and the United Kingdom. These European locations will help create the harsh alien landscape of Furia, a planet that's been described as both beautiful and deadly. And here's where things get really interesting. Vin Diesel has been actively teasing fans on social media with behind-the-scenes images. We're talking desert battle scenes, Riddick's signature rugged look, and glimpses of what appears to be intense chase sequences across hostile terrain. The visuals alone suggest this will be the most action-packed Riddick film yet. But here's the question that's been burning in every fan's mind since the project was announced. What will Riddick actually find when he returns to Furia, the planet he barely remembers and has feared might be nothing but ruins and ashes? And more importantly, will he finally discover other Furians who possess the same legendary warrior abilities that have made him nearly unstoppable? Or will he find himself as the last of a dying race, forever alone in a universe that fears and hurts him? Here's what we know. The official synopsis reveals that Furia is not completely destroyed. In fact, there are other Furian warriors fighting for survival on the planet, but they're facing a new monstrous enemy, something that threatens to finish what the Necromongers started years ago. This is huge for the franchise, because Riddick has always been portrayed as unique, solitary, almost mythological in his abilities. But imagine him encountering others like himself, warriors who can match his strength, his speed, his ferocity. The dynamic shifts entirely. Concept art leaked information suggest Riddick will encounter a Furian child with eyes like his own. This opens up possibilities for legacy storylines, perhaps even hints at Riddick having a family he never knew existed. The emotional stakes suddenly become much higher than just survival. The film promises to explore Furian society, their culture, their tribal structures, and the unique abilities that extend beyond Riddick's famous night vision. What other powers do Furians possess? What made them such feared warriors across the universe? These questions will finally be answered. And let's not forget the new monstrous enemy mentioned in the synopsis. Every Riddick film has featured terrifying creatures, perfectly adapted to their environments. What kind of monsters could threaten an entire race of warriors like the Furians? Whatever they are, they're going to push Riddick to his absolute limits. Now, this brings us to an even deeper question that has franchise implications and has sparked intense debate. Is Riddick 4 Furia designed to be the definitive conclusion to Riddick's story, bringing his character arc full circle from the convict we met in Pitch Black to a warrior who finally understands his place in the universe and his true purpose? Or is this actually an expansion point that will open the doors to an entirely new era of Riddick content, including potential spin-offs, animated series exploring other Furians, and video games that dive deeper into the expanded mythology? Let's break this down. On one hand, the film brings Riddick back to his origins, which narratively feels like a completion of his journey. He's been running, surviving, and searching for answers about who he really is since the very beginning. Returning to Furia and potentially saving his people would be a powerful, definitive ending for the character. And here's the flip side. By introducing multiple Furian characters and expanding the lore significantly, the film could actually be laying groundwork for a much larger universe. Think about it. If there are other Furians with their own unique abilities and stories, there's a goldmine of content potential. There's also been fascinating casting speculations. Unconfirmed rumors suggest Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson might join us as one of the Furians. Can you imagine the screen presence of Vin Diesel and The Rock as Furian warriors? The action sequences alone would be worth the price of admission. David Twohy and Vin Diesel have maintained a creative partnership for over 2 decades, producing not just films, but animated series and video games, expanding Riddick's mythology. They've proven they can build interconnected stories across multiple media platforms. Furia could be the catalyst for the next phase. The reality is probably somewhere in the middle. Furia likely serves as a satisfying conclusion to Riddick's personal journey, while simultaneously opening doors for future projects that may or may not include him as the central character. The expanded universe could continue with new protagonists, new threats, and new worlds to explore within the established mythology. But here's where things take an unexpected turn. Something that changes everything we thought we knew about this franchise. While everyone has been focused on Riddick returning to Furia and meeting other warriors, there's been very little discussion about one crucial element: Riddick's relationship with the very people he's returning to help. Think about this carefully. Riddick has spent his entire life as an outcast, a criminal, a man who trusts no one and operates purely on survival instinct. He's been hunted by mercenaries, imprisoned, forced to fight for his life on hostile planets, and has become comfortable in solitude. But now he's going back to Furia, to people who might expect him to be something he's not: a leader, a savior, a hero. What if Riddick doesn't want that role? Here's the twist that nobody's talking about. What if the real conflict in Furia isn't about fighting monsters or surviving? What if it's about Riddick deciding whether he even wants to be part of Furian society? The synopsis mentions that some Furians are akin to Riddick in their strength and resilience, which suggests both alliances and conflicts. That word conflicts is crucial. What if there are Furians who resent Riddick for surviving when so many died? What if they blame him for not being there when the necromongers attacked? Or even more intriguing, what if there are Furians who see Riddick's long absence and survival tactics as betrayal? He spent decades operating as a lone wolf, making morally gray decisions, killing when necessary, and serving no one but himself. That might not sit well with warriors who value honor, tribe, and sacrifice. The internal conflict could be the most compelling part of the film. Riddick finally finding his people, only to realize he might not belong with them after all. It's a deeply human story wrapped in sci-fi action, and it fits perfectly with the character's arc. And there's one more possibility that would truly shake up the franchise. What if the monstrous enemy threatening Furia is actually connected to Riddick himself? What if his return is what draws this threat to the planet? Throughout the franchise, danger follows Riddick wherever he goes. It's practically his defining characteristic. What if the real twist is that Riddick's presence on Furia endangers the very people he's trying to save, forcing them to make an impossible choice between staying with his people or leaving to protect them? This would elevate Furia from a simple action film to a profound character study about identity, belonging, and sacrifice. And given David Twohy's track record of blending character depth with visceral action, this kind of twist is absolutely within the realm of possibility. David Twohy's return as writer and director is crucial to understanding what we can expect. He's helmed all 3 previous Riddick films, maintaining a consistent tone and vision that blends hard sci-fi with horror elements and character-driven storytelling. His involvement guarantees this won't feel like a generic cash grab sequel, but rather a genuine continuation of Riddick's story. The franchise has always stood apart from typical Hollywood action films by embracing its darker, more violent roots. Riddick isn't a traditional hero. He kills without hesitation, operates in moral gray areas, and survives by being more dangerous than his enemies. Furia promises to maintain that edge while adding mythical depth. The industry reception has been cautiously optimistic. Vin Diesel's recent non-Fast and Furious projects haven't achieved the same commercial or critical success, which raises questions about whether Furia can reinvigorate his career outside that franchise. However, Riddick has always been different. It's passion project territory for Diesel, and that authenticity resonates with audiences. The financial backing from European film funds indicates strong confidence in international market appeal. The Riddick franchise has maintained a dedicated global fanbase that's been hungry for new content. The combination of Diesel's star power, Twohy's creative vision, and the expanded mythology could make Furia a sleeper hit that exceeds expectations. Fan theories continue to run wild across social media. Beyond casting speculations, there's intense discussion about what Furia abilities we might see beyond night vision. Enhanced strength, telepathy, energy manipulation. The possibilities are endless, and fans are creating elaborate theories about how Furian powers could work scientifically within the established universe. There's also significant discussion about the film's rating. Previous Riddick films have changed from R-rated violence to more restrained action. Given the subject matter and Diesel's comments about returning to the franchise's roots, many fans expect Furia to embrace a hard R rating with no compromises. And there it is. Riddick 4 Furia is shaping up to deliver everything fans have been dreaming about, and maybe even more. A long-awaited return to the origins, intense action across unforgiving alien worlds, a deeper dive into Furian mythology, and long-overdue answers to mysteries we've been chasing for over 20 years. So if you could choose one thing you absolutely must see in Riddick 4 Furia, what would it be? Special character return, a particular type of Furian ability, or maybe a crossover with another sci-fi franchise? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're as hyped for Furia as we are, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our coverage as we get closer to release.